of all, hello everybody. I'm really happy to be here. Second of all, I was trying to think about how I could describe to you what my job is. And I think in the most simplistic terms, the challenge is, how do we get somebody 126 years old to get it up? Well, I'm your Viagra, okay? That's the name of the game, guys. All I can tell you is that, number one, I didn't get where I got today by losing. And I promise you, I have no tolerance for losing, and I ain't going to lose. And that means that when you read the New York Times today, in the business section, you will see the obituary of the newspaper industry. I don't believe it. I don't think that's going to happen. But more important, I don't think it's going to happen to us. And it's not going to happen to us if we change, if we move, if we understand that we're all in this together, and we have an enormous challenge. And it's particularly challenging because everybody says we ain't going to make it. Well, I'm here to tell you we are, without question. And we're going to do whatever it takes to make it. This company has some extraordinary assets, most of which, in my opinion, have not been as effectively used as they should have been. Just a simple example, the fact that we own a major TV station in this market. And the TV station and the newspaper don't talk to each other. I don't get it. Here we have this great competitive advantage, and we treat them like shit. And by the way, they view you similarly, so you shouldn't be disappointed. But the answer is, we're all one family. The answer is that all of our jobs and all of our mutualities are as connected to KTLA as they are to the LA Times. We have got to understand that we're one company, and we got to figure out where our strengths are, and we got to leverage them accordingly. So one of our strengths is that we have extraordinary printing facilities. We actually have really good people who run those facilities. And so the answer is, how are we going to get all the fucking business? Last week I was in New York, and I sat down with Rupert Murdoch, and I said, we want to print the LA Times, we want to print the Wall Street Journal for you on the West Coast. And then we want to print the Wall Street Journal for you in Florida, and everywhere else we can. We want to find other newspapers and other publications where we can print it. We just completed a deal in Chicago. By the way, this is a great story. Okay, it's typical of the way this fucking company runs. Last week, we completed, no, not maybe a month ago, we completed a deal in Chicago with the Chicago Sun-Times, where in effect, we are now distributing the Chicago Sun-Times. Now, there's an immediate $10 million benefit to both sides by us distributing it for them. $5 million apiece. Just money hanging or rolling on the floor. For reasons that I can't explain, it only took the company 6 years to conclude that it was a good idea. 6 years. Well, you know, first of all, you can't get anything done unless you start with a committee. And then after you create the committee, you got to schedule the meetings. And then after you schedule the meeting, you then got to poll the committee. And then you got to make sure that whatever you decide, nobody is against. And then I think you spend a lot of time studying your navel to see if this is the right decision. Now, I'm probably exaggerating how efficient they really were. Am I being too subtle? I mean, I could talk slower. But the bottom line is that what happened in the past stays in the past. My head only looks forward. It doesn't turn backward. A lot of shit in the history of the LA Times in a lot of different places. I'm really sorry about the past, but there isn't anything that I can do about it. All I can do is address the future. And as long as you guys join me in focusing on the future, instead of focusing on who did what to who in some other prehistoric era, we can make enormous progress. We have a structure that we put together to buy this company that gives us this unique position that we don't pay taxes. So we have an enormous advantage over our competitors. At the same time, we're also very highly leveraged. And we got to reduce that leverage, and we're gonna. And that means that probably our toughest year is 2008. Because that's the point at which we haven't yet reduced leverage, and yet we have all the leverage. But the answer is, it's number one, manageable. Number two, I have a lot of experience running and managing highly leveraged institutions, and I don't think this is any different than any of them. I'm not a newspaper guy. I'm a businessman. And so therefore, all that matters in the end is the bottom line. Because as long as we have a bottom line, we have a viable newspaper. If we lose that bottom line or erode it significantly, then we're all going to get buried together. That ain't a good deal. I got to tell you that I've been wandering around this company for the past, I guess, probably since April. But particularly in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've been wandering around and doing these kinds of town hall meetings in all of our properties around the country. The good news is we have really good properties. Think about how really valuable that LA Times name is. You know, I was talking to I was here in October, I talked to the town hall downtown, and I looked at it and I said, you know, all you guys need to understand that in the end, our greatest asset is our brand. I asked them a question. I said, you know, everybody thinks the internet is such hot shit. Well, it is. And it's going to be more relevant in all of our lives going forward. But if you had a website that didn't have latimes.com but had whatever else, you wouldn't get any hits. You get hits because it's the LA Times. That's the message. That's our single greatest asset. We've got to take advantage of it. We've got to focus on it. I've been around the country and all I do is keep discovering new bullshit that exists within this organization. I was in Hartford and we did one of these town hall meetings. Guy raised his hand. He says, why do you block all of the quote-unquote sites on the internet, MySpace, Facebook, etc.? I said, I didn't know we blocked it. You're telling me we're a First Amendment